Printful has a really handy tool called the MOCKUP generator, and you can use this to create a whole range of suitable images and photos to use in your Etsy store. So if you remember when we set up the tote bag, it was a single product, it had no variations, the images were automatically produced, sent through to Etsy, and everything was fine. However, when I did the pillow, because of the number of variations, the number of images created for that would just be enormous. If you selected all of them to send over to Etsy, you would have too many. Etsy can only accept 10. You wouldn't be able to exactly say which ones ended up on Etsy. So I have found the best way is to include, just like we did with our pillow, just include some basic variations and then use the MOCKUP generator to create a whole range of photographs and upload them manually. So that's what we'll go ahead and do now. So from our Printful dashboard, on the menu on the left hand side, scroll all the way down to the bottom and select MOCKUP generator. So I'm going to scroll all the way down to the menu, and what did I have? Home and living and throw pillows. And we had a basic pillow. So I'm going to go through basically the same procedure for setting up a product very, very quickly in order to produce all of the images in a single file to download. So I'm going to take the same file that I used from before for my pillow. That's this one. Choose it here. And it is applied exactly the same way for my rectangular pillow. And again, I'm going to duplicate that for front and back. And that's super quick. And then just quickly go through again for these square ones where I have the image pulled over one way for the front. And then the reverse for the back. It really doesn't take very long to do. That's that one, and the larger size. Again, the back, that way, the front, that way. So now the products here are in the same sizes, and the images are the same as the original product that I created. So I can click over to MOCKUP View. Once the mockup files are created, you can scroll down and see all of the available images for your product. So for each variation, you'll have an image that shows that variation on each style of picture. And now we can go through and pick exactly which ones we want to use and generate a file to download. So click at the bottom here where it says Generate Files. And now you can choose the mockup style. The person mockups, the lady holding the pillow, we've already got those on our store, so we don't need them. So I'm going to uncheck that one. Let's have some of these flat lifestyle mock-ups, and maybe I don't need the back. I'll just include the front, and maybe a default mock-up, which just includes the pillow itself on an isolated white background. Again, I don't want the backs. And then let's pick some lifestyle mock-ups. And these are all down the bottom here. I'm going to uncheck all of the back ones. I don't want any back ones because they're pretty much the same anyway. I want to keep a uniform look, so I'm just going to have front ones. And then I can pick which front ones I like. This one, because of the blue background, doesn't show my pillow well, so I don't want that one so much. But this one here, this one on the chair, this one on the sun lounger, I think those look good, and that one, and that one. And then I can pick from them later. Okay, so now I've decided which ones I might like to use. I click Generate Files. So Printful goes ahead and creates mock-ups using all of those images and our actual print file. Once it's ready, we click here to download the files to our computer, and it comes all together as a single file. And now here is our downloaded file, which has all of the images in it. So that is great because now it gives us a lot more control over exactly which ones we want to add into our Etsy listing. So I'm going to hop back over to Etsy now and add some of these in. Here's my draft listing. I click into Edit, and now we can add in some more images. So now it's really easy to just be able to see all of the photos side by side and decide which I think are the best ones for for my product and which are going to really show up best on Etsy. And instead of having to pick straight from Printful, 3 which are all really, really similar, I can go through, I can then maybe pick one of this image, one of that one on this chair, and really give some variety to the images that I use on my Etsy listing. So I'm going to go through and add these now until I've used all 10 images on Etsy. When you add files into Etsy this way from the mockup generator, you'll see that they have this little warning triangle, and it tells you that listings look best with photos at least 2000 pixels wide. The ones produced for the mockup generator aren't that large, but I still think that they look good enough for me. See, most of the time people are looking on their phones or tablets or smaller screens these days, so I don't think it needs a massive image. Obviously use your own judgment in terms of which images look best on your listing and whether you're going to import them as part of your product upload or whether you're going to add them later with the mockup generator. So now we've got our images in there, we can click on preview to take a look, and all of our image files are now here down the side, and we can click on them and see what our product images look like, and they look great. So let's go back to editing. Now at this point, if you want to, you can actually pick up any of your pictures and drag and drop if you want them to be in a different order. So go ahead and do that if you like, and then when you are ready, hit on publish. So now, of course, we now have 2 active listings in our store, including this temporary one that we set up when we set the store up originally. So I'm going to go in on the little settings icon there, down arrow, and deactivate. It confirms that's going to be taken out of the store. And now if we go over to our store, click here under Etsy with your place name, and we'll be able to see what the store looks like. So now here's our store with our first live product ready there for somebody to discover us and buy their first pillow. So with the idea now that orders may soon be coming in, we need to go over to Printful and just make sure everything there is set up to process our orders. And that's what we'll look at next.